Looks like we're getting started here. Both of them starting out in Link's house and finding a bee in a bottle.
Absolutely. Bob instantly quitting out to head probably over to Sanctuary. Gonna get a nice check-in with that bottle now that he's got that.
Elias checking his map, which is nice for our tracker, I'm sure. Speaking of which, our tracker today is Bluegreen Mikey, so thanks to him for tracking for us.
Absolutely. Bob finding a map in the Sanctuary chest. Elias trying to get a nice little kill in so he can check the full reward from the tree.
Just red hearts. Not what he's probably hoping for, but you gotta check when you're there.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't always pull the bombs for full magic, but it's nice to still see to begin with.
Bob heading out towards Lumberjack, and Elias checking his uncle for a heart piece. And Elias is now quite funded. That gives him a lot more options in terms of where he can go, because he can spend that money if he needs to,
Absolutely. A little interesting deciding to head back up rather than the safe quit out there. Wants to double check that poultry, it looks like, for those hearts.
With those 300 rupees, he can buy bombs if he needs to now, and he can also check the bottle vendor. Finds a burrito in the sank chest. I think that the priest was probably saving it for lunch, but I guess we'll deprive him of that.
Bob looks like he's trying to check the value crab here, see what he can get.
Getting some money from that true pull, so that's a starter, but not 100 for the bottle vendor.
Sadly, no. Looks like we're going to get our first check of anxiety tree here.
Big fat nothing.
Nothing indeed. Very good for them because they don't have to go through and deal with Aga, but a little disappointing because we don't get to see a little bit of extra action on there.
It's not too late for Aga to show up, but it's not going to be from that tree. So we have some, route convergence here again. And, of course, Elias has those extra rupees, and they're going to really help him out, I think. Unless we find some soon for DoctorBobtastic.
Just a piece of heart sitting in the Lost Woods, along with an extra piece of heart down in the Thieves' Hideout.
Heading towards Kakariko now. I assume both of them will be right behind each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like a pretty standard start. Bob should still be okay. There's almost no way he's not going to pull a red rupee out of one of these chests.
Yeah.
Bob opting to start from the south end of town, probably to ensure that he starts with bombs on his way up.
Yeah.
Same thing coming out from Elias.
Pretty sleepy start here. Nothing really good yet.
No, pretty slow so far. Both of them heading straight up to check on Sick Kid.
Using that bottle from Link's house to check in.
Oh, we got boots.
Not so sleepy anymore. Gonna be going fast now.
Yes, very early. 4 minutes in for boots. Start racking up those ball counts already for your guesses at the end.
Yeah, it's nice to get it here, so they have the option of go ahead and getting the library item if they need to. No backtracking for that, at least.
Or worse yet, forgetting. We've seen that once or twice, and we don't want to see that come through again. A little bit of premature detonation on Bob's side, running into that bomb blast, but still nothing but 10 arrows to show for the work.
I don't think the HP factor is going to come into play too much here, but definitely a little slower to get knocked away from the bomb, I imagine.
Yeah. Elias declining to check the bottle vendor on the way up, probably head on the way back down the course. Synchronized opposite checking here, one in the well and one in the shed, so we'll get to see everything real quick here.
power gloves in the thief's hut here. That's pretty nice.
Absolutely, along with a red orang and a little more fundage.
Power gloves brings up some extra options, but don't really know. We're gonna have to see where he goes with those. He's gonna head into escape or something. Who knows?
Absolutely. We'll probably get a quick early save and quit on escape, and then immediately followed by another save and quit up toward Death Mountain, at least for one of the runners, I would expect.
But a potential route divergence coming up now that they've checked all the spots here. Or, well, I guess they're going to have to go down to check the library while they're here. But soon, maybe they'll do something different.
Looks like the bottle vendors moved over to a weapons merchant for the scene.
Yeah, that's a pretty good deal. I don't know the exact conversion rate on rupees to US dollars, but I think 100 for a sword sounds pretty good to me.
Absolutely. I'd even pay 500 if Zora was actually moved over to weapons merchant for this. 20 rupees in the library. I think both of our races are going to pass that up, it looks like. Heading down for a quick check of the race, see if it's going to be worth it to double back.
No, just bombs.
Absolutely.
Elias starting in his house, and so is Bob. So what's the plan now? They're going to go down to the dam.
It looks like we're going to have a check down toward Dam or Mini Maldorm. Bobtastic for a moment there looks like he was thinking he wanted to go to escape or up towards Sank somewhere.
I think it has a little better density for now, but we'll just have to see what we get.
No, BK. Elias did not check Houlihan Room. He actually lucked out and got 300 rupees out of, I believe it was the secondary lantern chest in escape.
Still not a lot. Let's see what's on the dam. Still not a lot.
That's indeed a little disappointing. Double arrow upgrades, both out of inside and outside of dam.
There's 5 items here in this mini Moldorm cave, so hopefully something's good in there.
Looks like Elias is prepping some beast strats in for the mini Moldorm cave.
I'd say it paid off. Oh, but gotta finish off that last one.
Absolutely. Elias needs to work on his throwing arm there, a little short on that second bomb.
Yeah, I mean, if he had bombed like that for the other ones, then I think the beat paid off. But obviously, DoctorBobtastic has caught up a little bit in that sense.
Disappointing mini Moldorm cave, one full and one piece, along with a couple of capacity upgrades.
Very slow start. I mean, it's not that slow technically, since they have boots and they can go fast, but there's not a lot of value here.
Bob taking an accidental shock there from one of the dancing pickles. He's got to watch out. He does not want to get bodied by a crab here.
Yeah, he's on the danger zone for sure from the crabs.
Moon Pearl.
That's definitely something that's nice to see.
Especially right here, when you've got to think that the obvious next play is going to be a fake flipper towards Zora for a couple extra item checks.
Give you some more options. It's not immediately useful for Dark World access, but it's definitely good when you already have those gloves. Now you're just looking for another pair of gloves or a hammer. But looks like DoctorBobtastic is not doing the same thing here. He's going to go check the chests that Elias got earlier with the 300 rupees.
Absolutely. He's going to go pick himself up some 300 rupees, and I believe it was a piece of heart. And with a level 1 sword, you can't help but think he might go down and check the front or the original half of Escape.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense when he's coming here like this.
Elias with the fake flipper, going ahead and checking. We only got a piece of heart on the island, so no need to come back to Hylia.
Being careful to dodge that ball from the Zora there. Don't want to get hit when you're in fake flippers. Just a bomb upgrade.
Just capacity upgrade. Doesn't quite feel comfortable enough to try the reverse fake flipper out.
Kind of depends on what his plans are. Maybe that's not where he wants to go yet, but
absolutely.
We'll see. Looks like he might be heading into reverse escape. Familiar with the bots? Who knows?
So we've got Elias heading to the back end of Escape to check the 3 chests. Bob coming into the front portion to go check towards Zelda.
Another 300 rupees there. Pretty healthy. And that'll definitely help finance a future Zora trip if they want to go that route.
Elias with a fat lot of nothing, unfortunately, in the back half of Escape. Seems like he also will come check the front half down towards the Zelda cell.
I think overall you'd say that...
Ooh, hammer!
Yeah, that's Dark World access then.
Absolutely. We can now go in toward Kakariko and check some Village of Outcasts soon.
I think you'd probably say that DoctorBobtastic's routing paid off because he got to do the uncle stuff along with the start of Escape. Saved himself a save quit.
Absolutely. He saved himself an extra save quit in there. He's in pretty good shape as is.
And a half magic in Zelda's cell.
Absolutely a loaded Hyrule Castle dungeon here, just finding all the items you need.
It's not really immediately useful since I don't really have anything that uses magic, but definitely helps out later on. DoctorBobtastic hitting up Flunctuary.
Not much of note, just blue rune piece, a little bit sadly. Looks like he'll come back and probably, it looks like, yeah, definitely checking the back half of Escape here.
Elias getting his half magic. Now there is another chest in Escape.
And we have already seen the map, and we do have the extra keys, and it looks like indeed DoctorBobtastic, my apologies, is going to be looking to go through some dark rooms and get to that extra chest to see what we can find here. A little bit of sequence break, but who needs a lantern?
And we're not seeing the same thing from Elias. Because he did it in the other order, so he didn't really know yet.
Absolutely. And it looks like Elias is going to go ahead and start taking advantage and getting into some Village of Outcasts, especially with a nice little amount of rupees under him where he can easily check both chess game and digging game if he so desires.
He's got a lot of options, and hopefully he'll find something of value in Village of Outcasts, but I'm sure that DoctorBobtastic won't be too far behind.
DoctorBobtastic finally making it to the crossroom, it looks like. Blue mail!
That sure is nice for DoctorBobtastic to find, and could potentially be a source of a lot of help to him, considering they're in the Dark World here at 15 minutes.
Absolutely. Looks like we had a map check from Elias in the Dark World. The only thing of note is that it's all crystals with the exception of Pod, which is a green pendant.
Green pendant Pod is always sort of nice, because it has so many chests to begin with, and it's not that bad of a dungeon.
Absolutely, it's not such a pain to check, especially if they can find a mirror at some point here. It's not actually that bad of a check. It's pretty quick overall. We have a fire rod out of the sea house in Village of Outcasts.
With that fire rod, he could potentially go off for Skull Woods. Especially with the half magic they had found in Zelda's cell and escape. That's going to make him a nice weapon to carry him through for a little while with the weakness of them only having fire sword at the moment. Yeah, but it looks like he's going to head through Thieves Town first. Which is, it's good. It's right into the way. He's going to go in there. Might as well be now. DoctorBobtastic finally getting around to checking the hobo. And it looks like he will be attempting the fake flippers from reverse. And gets it on the second try.
Very nice. Holding off on both the uncle and the second part of this, and the first part of escape allowed him to rack up both large 300 rupee chests, so he will be able to go ahead and take advantage of Zora right now.
I'm pretty impressed with the way that Bob has been rounding things. It's definitely paid off being able to do all this stuff at the same time. Now he has the two waterfall chests, and but he gets hit. That's not good. Starting in Link's house makes me think he might be heading back.
Yeah, the hesitation at the door really wanted you to think that he was thinking about running it back there, but it looks like he's instead going to go over and check Sashrala's hut and see what we've got. Maybe an Eastern even?
No bow, and it's a pendant dungeon, so it would be for those items. And he can get two guaranteed, especially considering his dark room navigation skills, which seem to be evident. But he might just be checking out Sahasral's hut. Mushroom, silvers, and 10 mana capacity upgrade.
Definitely pretty good so far here. Now, Zoo, I don't know about you. I'm one of the, and even if I do see something such as, we have a lantern in Thieves Town, and then death for Elias, unfortunately. But I actually, even if I see a Pod Eastern, because of the wide variety of early exploration items, it's usually not a bad idea at least to take a quick peek in there at the first couple of chests.
Yeah. Elias finding that lamp, that'll probably help him out a lot when he goes to Eastern. If he goes to Eastern, or it could also help him out if he wants to get that blue mail and escape. But he might not find that worth it, because it's just that one chest.
Definitely. You have to even think if Elias will even, if he does remember, if he even considers the possibility of maybe I want to go back and check that and escape. The one thing is, even with here in the secondary tournament, having the lantern is very nice because you're not, well, we may not be the, even I am personally on this, we may not be the top 100. It's definitely nice to have those safeties and those backups, such as just having full access into the lantern so you don't have to deal with the dark rooms.
I mean, it's not just not having to do it dark. It's just faster to do it with the lantern. Even the best darkroom navigators still have to take it a little slower, just by the nature of the necessary navigation. And especially later on in slower dark rooms, like, Mire, that lamp is definitely a big help.
Elias heading in toward Big Chest. Nice to have that early hammer, and finds Brian.
Of course, after looking at his menu, it's clear that Blind will have a map, so that is the last item in the dungeon. Bobtastic opens up the big chest in Eastern for bombs. And he's not going to go through, well, I mean, yeah, he didn't go through the dark room, did he?
No, he did not go through the dark room there. Chose to pass it up here. May have wanted to explore a different option. Maybe not fully comfortable, one of the two.
Looks like Bob will be heading towards Village Outcasts and towards where Elias is now. Be interesting to see the choices he makes. I assume he'll probably do pretty much the same thing here.
Definitely. Maybe in a slightly different order, but we are seeing a very similar early game here from both of them.
Of course, the trip to Eastern didn't really pay off for Bob, and it's possible that Elias will never have to go in there.
It's definitely very possible in there, and especially with not only Eastern but Pod being a pendant, you've got to think that that's just a complete portion of the map that you want to try to avoid at all costs here.
And with no bow, it's not very compelling either, just for the density, which is pretty good considering if you have that bow, you can do Palace and Eastern, and you're right in the right spot for the green pin to turn in from Pod. But we'll see if that ends up playing a factor.
Elias heading in toward digging game. Quick, if you've got your guesses for how many digs it's going to take, remember it's up to 30. I'm always a fan of your mid-20 digs, so you're kind of sitting there forever like, okay, am I actually going to find this?
It's another bottle with a B in it for his trouble.
B-Torp approves.
Looks like he's heading through the overworld now. I don't blame him for not heading over to Skull Woods with Green Mel and just Fire Rod and Half Magic, but it's a real scary place.
And we have a mirror from Stump Kid.
That's a pretty convenient place to get a mirror, because now he can go down and check that mirror chest right to his south, but doesn't seem to be doing it.
No, seems to be heading over. I think we've got a one-track mind here. He's got his sights set on Hype Cave.
Hopefully there isn't anything important in that Haunted Grove chest. Or the one south of it, yeah.
Definitely guaranteed on that. I mean, that's one of those few in there you sit there forever and you can rack your brain trying to find it. Generous man not being very generous finds a single green rupee.
He gets an ether medallion out of it, which, you know, with Meyer and Turtle Rock crystals, has a good chance of being useful later. Better than just rupees, for sure.
Yeah.
Bobtastic seems to be following right in Elias's footsteps here.
Yeah, definitely a couple minutes behind here on this, but he does have a little bit of extra world exploration done and does have those silvers should Elias attempt to completely avoid the Eastern Palace area, which one would have to think at some point he'll have to get over that direction. In fact, here he goes right now. Now that he's got his mirror, he can just quick mirror over and take a quick look in the hut.
Now, what do you think his plan is after this? You think he's going to go into Eastern too, or is he going to back off and go to Pyramid or Catfish?
I'm a little interested. I was a little interested to see him choose to mirror so quickly rather than go around. I really think the play here would be backtrack over, go back to the Dark World, especially having just found the mushroom. Go up, mirror over, and turn that in, and get a good check at Catfish, especially since he's now has the money and hasn't got a check in on Zora as well.
Yeah, and we'll have to see. But I think the early mirror is probably a good hint towards what he's going to do. And he's back out of there, so that was a good call. DoctorBobtastic getting his lamp now. Nothing on the pyramid there. Elias heading over here and not doing Eastern yet. If he doesn't end up doing it, that could be a source of time save for him, you know? If there's nothing in it later on that becomes necessary.
Yeah, absolutely. Bobtastic took a small gamble there. It didn't pay off in the short term. We'll have to see if it does pay off in the long term. Could save him a little bit of money, a little bit of time rather, on a return visit if it does end up being required.
Elias getting to turn in that mushroom that he got from Sahasrala's house.
See what our value on illegal substances is today.
Just a piece of heart.
Just a little bit of love.
That was some good math there from Elias.
Just running that net right down on the border of where he needed to be.
I mean, it's a pretty simple, you know, math check, but you're probably thinking about it as you see it go down. Like, was that a mistake?
Even so, it's just very few times you get to see it that finely tuned.
I mean, he can still have money problems later because of buying that potion, but it's normally pretty good value. Especially when you're sitting on green mail here and with the fighter sword. Of course, with Pod Pendant, it's possible that Kiki won't be a factor at all, and that could be the last time he needs to spend money, but we'll have to see. DoctorBobtastic is in the low HP levels here in the blind fight.
Indeed. The half magic, though, going to come into use, save him enough magic to run Brian through the remainder of the fight.
Yeah, he gets his map and his crystal, and definitely glad that he has the half magic there. It's a real scary fight, for me at least, since I don't play this game very often, and I am not good at the scripted version.
Elias with some very harsh life lessons for sale.
That's pretty rough. Looks like Bob might be heading towards Skull Woods. Maybe? Nope. Changes his mind. Pretty big divergence here now, because, well, maybe he is going to Skull Woods. Who knows? He faked me out, because he was like, oh, I'm going to go up there, and then I was like, oh, I guess he's going to go to Mumper Cave, but nope, he's going to Skull Woods.
Nope, definitely decided to take the long way about, a little bit easier since he doesn't quite have the Titan's Mitch to go straight up and would have to go around.
Now, Skull Woods has had a lot of value here in this tournament often.
Just today, even. It's had infinite value here in Skull Woods.
So we'll have to see how this pays off. But, I mean, he can complete it if he wants to. And, you know, if he's confident with how he can handle Mothula. With half magic, it's definitely a lot more manageable than just that fighter sword.
Definitely, absolutely. Having those 16 shots rather than 8 with just the fire rod will make the difference, especially when you're having that full damage go through rather than just the mediocre damage you're going to get from the level 1 sword.
Elias is checking out Death Mountain here. Of course, he has the mirror and the hammer, so he can go to the far side with that.
Not only that, he did pick up a blue potion. If he's feeling froggy here, he can go ahead and drop right down to Spike Cave right now.
He has the hammer he needs, so he could do that, but I don't think that's going to be his plan.
At least not on the first trip up. With a fight with 2 fire sources, a hammer, he can easily clear out Hera, head over, check on East Side Death Mountain. Passes up the piece of heart in the basement for the first 2 items.
Bob looking low on HP here.
Little on the low on HP side, but at the very least, one of the good upsides to doing Skull Woods here on low HP is with so many entrances. Choosing to save and quit out. You can just, die real quick, and you're not actually in a huge time loss like you would be somewhere such as Ice Palace. Elias finding the big key down on the first floor, with giving him really high odds he's not going to have to visit the basement after all.
I wonder where Bob is going. Is he going to go up the... Yeah, he's going up to Death Mountain to you. So he'll be right behind Elias towards Death Mountain, it seems. Having that lamp makes it a lot easier to get through here.
Elias getting himself cornered there. Have to take the intended route down here to check the chest.
So,
Bobtastic picking up his 20 spot from the old man for a nice little escort mission. Heading himself up the top to see what he can find.
The basement has an item.
Yes, it does, because he doesn't have the key. It's going to drop off Moldorm.
Yeah, and he already has the map and the compass. So he has both fire sources, so he'll be fine to check it, but doesn't want to forget. Bob seems to be hunting for fairies.
Fairies or possibly a magic drop.
He's got half magic and Burna.
Half magic Burna and boots, he should be fine, yeah.
Elias, knowing the item situation, is going back in to check the basement.
Moment of truth for Bob. Oh, just a piece of heart.
He got it. It's done now. Elias missing an attempt at invincibility frames for the... Well, he gets it again. So having that red boomerang helped him out there. Now looks like Bob is not going to be going up to here right behind Elias like I had said. He is going back into the Dark World down here.
Yeah, he's going to take his opportunity to take a look at Hype Cave that since he has access down here towards Swamp Palace.
Oh, he can't because he doesn't have the mirror yet. Silly me. He has to get the mirror from
Stumpy, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that ultimately worked out in Elias's favor.
Only 20 rupees, disappointing, but at least it's a little bit of a load off his mind for later.
Because Elias has saved himself a trip up Death Mountain compared to Bob, potentially.
Elias not taking a couple steps over just to check the floating island just in case. Looks like DoctorBobtastic's about to pick up his mirror here.
Will he go down into the cave south of there this time? We'll see. That could be a big source of help for Bob. Seems he's going to go down and check it out. If that's something important, it might be a thorn in Elias's side, because he didn't go check it when he got the mirror there.
Moment of truth, this could be big. And it's Bombos. That could play a huge role later.
It could be a factor. We don't know if it's necessary yet, and we don't know if Elias just forgot or plans to get it later. Elias gets his blue mail now.
Means that he's still got that egg. Now has an eggplant sitting in escape if he still wishes.
Yeah, and surely Bob will end up getting that blue mail. Well, it won't be blue mail for him, but he'll get that mail upgrade and he'll have red.
Titans!
Give him those Mets and the Master Sword. Pretty decent haul.
Yeah, the wall of caves here has been a big help for Elias. It's going to come into play real nice here, because now he can just drop down and check Dark World Death Mountain as well.
Yeah, that helps out a lot. And we might see maybe a Turtle Rock Medallion check, and we can see if that Bombos is going to pay off there. Looks like Bob is heading towards Pyramid and Catfish.
Yeah, he's definitely going to go ahead and do the East Side Dark World cleanup that Elias has already finished, while Elias is going to come up here, check the Super Bunny chest, head up, and probably get a quick medallion check in. And just 50 rupees in the Arrow of Destiny.
Gotta have that to beat the game, so, you know, it's something.
Absolutely. You can't possibly beat the game without the Arrow of Destiny. How else are you going to kill Ganon?
We are gonna get a medallion check. If that's Bombos, that could be big.
Oh, it's either.
So they both already have that one. Now, there's still a chance that Bombos is the Meyer medallion.
Looks like Elias is going to go ahead and just at least crack Turtle Rock while he's already up here.
And there, and you got the medallion. Might as well. Elias can still check the one chest in Hookshot Cave you can walk to, or he can. I guess he's gonna check the floating island now. Just a heart piece. He's gonna walk to that bottom chest. Hopefully, hoping for Hookshot, I guess.
I've seen it before. Yeah, I wouldn't put anything past these seeds anymore.
That's not what he's gonna find.
Bobtastic forgetting he does not quite have flippers yet.
looks like Elias is going to go head over and...
Likely going to check Spike Cave here.
Maybe. Yep, switching to that hammer. That half magic, he's sitting pretty.
Bobtastic not quite sure what he wants to do here. Save and quit it out to his house, and then instantly save and quit back out to the cave since he just probably remembered he had the mirror.
He'll probably be doing almost the exact same thing that Elias did, except for having already checked Spike Cave. Elias finally getting around to Sanctuary. DoctorBobtastic actually did this when he did the reverse escape.
Yes, however, we did not get a King's Tomb check.
Yeah, Elias has the option to go do that now. But that doesn't seem to be his option.
No, it seems to be heading back over toward Kakariko and likely back into the Dark World and toward... Possibly we might get a Skull Woods now. He's got a little bit more health, still got everything else, all his safeties, and now has blue mail to back him up.
We might see him check the King's Tomb from the Dark World.
He does have the mail to check, the mirror to check behind Graveyard.
And he can get a look at what's on Bumper Cave, but no cape yet. But he might go to Skull Woods first, so that's going to be fun. It's not going to pay off immediately unless it's something later on.
Yeah, we did not have DoctorBobtastic decide to check anything in the very back portion, so we could find something back in there. I know that he found a heart piece. I don't recall, however, if he found the second item.
We'll have to see, and it's a question of whether Elias wants to complete it. Of course, I don't know if Bob intended to complete it, and then when he died, he decided not to, or what, you know? We'll have to see if Elias plans to complete it.
Yeah. Well, okay, it looks like the second item was bombs, yeah, so that's definitely why DoctorBobtastic left. He knew there was nothing else in here. Elias having a little bit of trouble in the room there, getting intimate with a bumper, but managed to make it through and check that second one. He'll head up to here, get to the statue pool, and finally find his heart piece, and then we'll see if he decides to duck out or soldier through.
He's got a blue potion at his, takes death, but it's, right there, so not a huge deal. Bob is heading up to Moldorm now.
We'll likely go ahead and get his small key after killing Moldorm, head down to the basement, and find himself, I believe it was 20 rupees.
Do we think that Elias is going to complete the dungeon? I'm guessing he might.
Well, indeed, it looks like he's headed off toward the back end.
It's possible that Bob will route the rest of Skull Woods and with some North Dark World routing, but definitely nice to finish it off when you're there the first time. It's not really that far out of your way, but it saves a trip at least. Doing the star block puzzle the long way around. Always interesting to see this way.
Always interesting to see intended way. Looks like he was just looking for a little bit of extra magic and stuff, so he didn't have to suffer through the room.
Getting ganged up on by these Gymptos, but he's gonna. I would imagine that was intentional to maybe refill his hearts.
Yeah, that definitely looked intentional. He just wanted to get as much magic as he could, hoard up on it, and get a fresh set of hearts here.
Makes sense, using all of his resources so he can go ahead and finish his dungeon. I think even with that death, it's still faster than having to backtrack here later. Bob using his fire rod to give himself the iframes in the tall room. Two very different strategies there, because of course Elias used the red boomerang.
Yeah, it's very interesting to have, even as early as they were able to route to Hera, having as many different options as they had. Because while they may only have still a fighter sword, they have so many extra tools available to them. They have Brian, they have Fire Cane, and both with half magic, as well as a red boomerang.
I also have a hammer for dealing that damage to Moldorm. Elias having a fight here with Mothula. He does have a blue potion, so he definitely has some options here, but he seems to be managing just fine for now.
Seems to run down the last of his fire rod shots. He's going to go ahead and burn what hearts he can.
And nails it without needing the potion at all. So that was a good job by Elias there. Getting a nice little mothy burrito.
Every time he doesn't use a potion out here is an extra one he has for Turtle Rock and Ice Palace.
Bob is finishing off his Death Mountain stuff, and he'll be finding his mitts quite soon. In the next cave he heads to, most likely.
Elias may be forgetting he doesn't quite have a flute yet.
I was thinking that was probably what he was doing, but I don't know where he's going now. Maybe did he strand his portal?
It's not quite 100% stranded, but it's not exactly in the best place. Coming down here is probably just a better idea to start from scratch.
Yeah, I guess it's not that bad, because he's planning on going through the North Dark World, I imagine.
DoctorBobtastic picks up his third set of 300 rupees and his eggplant hat.
The other mail that Elias is missing is in the dark area of Escape. He might not end up going there. It's a pretty desolate area for density for Elias right now, but it's possible and it's there for them. And he has the lamp, which DoctorBobtastic didn't have when he was going through.
Yeah, it's definitely an easy chest to forget in there. I know it's coming back to bite at least one of our runners in the main tournament today already.
He checked that bumper cave and didn't find anything of use there. And he's going to check the King's Tomb and the Graveyard Cliff. Yeah, so far Elias has put himself in a pretty good position overall. He's a crystal up with the Skullwoods crystal. And the only thing that could be a potential problem for him is the Bombos medallion that he didn't get from the cave south of Haunted Grove.
Yeah, absolutely here. And even before that comes into play, since we already know that Turtle Rock, which is already open for Elias, is Ether, at this point, he's a little bit even more worried about having a flute before he even worries about what medallion he's going to need for Bismarck.
Yeah.
So going over what we're seeing here real quick, we've got two crystals down for Bob, we've got 3 crystals down for Elias. We're still missing flippers, we're still missing Cane of Samaria and Hookshot, as well as the flute. So So it's about 4 major items we're still missing for progression for these two, as well as the ultimate troll and the ice rod, which could be just about anywhere at this point.
You gotta think that, you know, Elias is maybe thinking about where to go next.
Heading back toward the village of Outcast with those Titans bits, you've got to be thinking he's going to go blacksmith and the rest of the plays around here, especially with the purple chest.
Yeah, he has that option. Bobtastic seems like he's thinking about where he wants to go next. Looks like he might be going to the same place eventually. It's hard to tell just from where they start out, but to me, I would think that's where he's going.
Yeah, looks like he's heading back over to get some extra Dark World access to Village of Outcast. Turns out we only have some rupee smiths today.
It's counterfeiting money in there, you know, Smith. What are rupees made out of? Are they just like crystals?
I don't know, like some sort of, you know, some crystal or just kind of like a gemstone. Elias double thinking, actually taking the heart after all. He's still pretty low. That's only making him his 9th.
And Bob picking up his frog friend. Gonna be doing the exact same thing that Elias just did.
Elias with the purple chest heading back down here. He'll have an extra opportunity to remember to stop by the South of Grove and see if he can pick up that medallion. And sure enough, that's right where he's headed.
Very smart. I guess maybe he realized it immediately, and now that he's it's good that he remembered that it was left there. And the scheme of things, coming out and picking it up this time isn't that much worse than. Well, I mean, I guess he might have even saved time, if you think about it. It's less of a detour picking it up this way than picking it up after getting... If he saved a quit after getting there, you know? Or I guess he went towards... it's close. It doesn't really matter.
It's really just about even either way. Every one of Elias' running choices has really at least broke even if paid off dividends, whereas DoctorBobtastic's had a couple of ones that just have not paid off in any sort of way, especially when you come back and you think about Eastern and the first dip he took into Skullwoods.
The thing about Eastern is, I think that makes it... Ooh, a hook shot.
Wow, hook shot in the purple chest.
That opens up, you know, the 3 other chests in Hookshot Cave, but you can't exactly do Swamp without the flippers. By can't exactly, I mean can't at all. It seems that he might not have realized this. Or maybe, has he... He's got to have checked this.
He's checked these. He's... I don't think he has realized he doesn't have flippers yet.
It'll be very obvious very soon. It's not going to be a very long trip before you realize since you can't finish the dungeon.
Yeah, this is gonna be a little rough to watch here.
It's a lot worse than... I mean, it's definitely not worse than going in it without a hook shot.
It's almost as bad as going in without a hammer. Frustration mounting in about 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. We're out of there. Looks like DoctorBobtastic will be picking up his hook shot shortly. Now, about the thing with DoctorBobtastic having done Eastern, I think that makes Pod a lot more tempting for Elias to go check out, maybe see if he can go in there without the bow, you know?
Yeah, and with him having access to Pod even without a bow, because that first chest on the left side almost, and I would say probably better than 80% is going to be a small key, is he has both the chest in Pod and the chest in Eastern, and he has a lamp. they may both be pendants, but that's still a lot of possible items rather than making the 3 or maybe 4 minute routing up here just to check 3 extra in Hookshot Cave.
But I mean, it all depends on what's there. You know, if you find something really good here in Hookshot Cave, then obviously this is the right call. If you find the bow, for example.
Exactly. You could find the bow up here, and in that case, I've got a nice tasty shoe right here I'll have to start munching on.
I think, other than the bow, you might be really looking for flippers or flute, you know?
Yeah, flippers will open up a lot to him over toward, you know, flippers. Yeah, flippers is going to open up Swamp Palace. Flute will open up everything around Meyer and at least have the peace of mind of what's actually in there. Find Tempered.
It's not a bow, but it's definitely nice to have. Means you don't have to worry about Master Sword Ganon anymore, and definitely speeds up everything else.
Yeah, that's definitely a good peace of mind for, you know, I don't have to worry about spins on Ganon at all, and I already have silvers.
What is his plan now? I guess that was just not where he wanted to be. I figured maybe, you know, he's going towards, I don't know where he would go.
I mean, at this point, you're really running out of legitimate options here. At this point, you're down to roughly Eastern and Pod, or a sequence break with a fake flipper into Ice Palace.
Or checking out that last chest and escape. It's going to give him the red mail.
And that's right where he's headed. He's going to go pick up his eggplant hat here in about 60 seconds or so.
Not having to worry about doing it in the dark. I mean, it's definitely nice to have the red mail, but it's not going to be the progression he wants, you know?
Bob with a couple of hops down into the water, I think also forgetting he didn't quite have flippers yet either.
I think at some point he's going to have to check out, I'm going to have to check out Pod, I guess. Or later in Eastern.
It's definitely Pod. Pod's definitely the play here. It's not the greatest one. You hate going in there because it's a pendant, but it's got so many different items, and you're almost bound to find something, especially if you're Elias who hasn't checked Eastern.
It's like Elias might be going towards Eastern first, or maybe...
Yeah, he's heading toward Eastern first. I know
he's going down to the portal.
Okay, I was going to say, I really can't agree with this play if he's not coming over here in Dark World, so he can do both.
Looks like Bob might be doing the same thing that Elias did as far as checking Hookshot Cave. Gotta get his Tempered Sword.
So at this point, we're about an hour into the run. We've got pretty good... Our runners are Voltroned up pretty well. They've got Tempered Sword, Red Mail, even with the fact that neither of them has found a shield yet. We're a little blocked on the progression and really down to just having to kind of run. And as bad as it's going to feel, all of the only options they really have left are pendant dungeons that they can't finish.
Does not feel good. They can't even get into one of them.
So on that note, as is traditional, as casters here, we have to ask the question. We have Pendant Pod, we have Pendant Desert, and we have Pendant Eastern. What is the possibility the flippers are on pedestal?
I guess it's possible. I don't think it's a very high possibility as always, but it's certainly possible. That would be something.
Never mind.
You summon them and they will come, but that strands Elias, doesn't it?
Yeah, Elias now forgetting that he doesn't have a bow.
That does open up Swamp Palace. But you definitely summoned those slippers. I mean, I guess that's what he wanted out of Pod to begin with. And I think this is probably good for Elias in that he might not ever do Eastern, you know?
Yeah, he might not do Eastern. He may not ever have to go back into Pod. And he's now got a crystal dungeon that he can finish that is chock full of items.
Yeah, I think if he hadn't found anything there, he was surely going to check Eastern. You've got to think that, well, I'm here, might as well, you know? But he found those slippers, and now he's decided, well, there's a swamp open to me now. DoctorBobtastic is going to have to find his way over to Pod now. It seems that is the direction he's heading.
He's probably going to follow the same route here, up and around to the 5 flight point and out into the Dark World.
Elias opening this floodgate for the 3rd time.
Yeah, this time, thankfully, he won't quite have as much of a problem staying afloat.
We can hope, at least. Looks like Bob will find his flippers very soon. Oh, he got really chased by that murder bird there. Just stuck right on him. And what do we think is in Pod?
In Pod or in Swamp?
I mean, Swamp. I mean, something could be in Pod. What do we think is later in Pod? We won't know for a while, or ever.
Oh, I want Trinex to have Ice Rod straight up.
Trinex can't have Ice Rod? You mean Helmasaur?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Helmasaur. The other four-legged creature that, you know, really tries to ruin my day.
Taking a bonk, but very close to finding his slippers. It'll be interesting to see if he does the same thing that Elias does, not realizing he's stranded there. There's his flippers. What's the plan? Mirror and leave, right? Yep, he knows. There's a bunch of chests here in the swamp, and we're gonna have to see if they can find. I guess you're hoping for a flute, maybe.
Yeah, you'd have to think that they're hoping to see a flute. Secondarily, if they can't find a flute, you might want to see Canis Samaria. I mean, as much as you hate to go into Turtle Rock early, at least you have access.
I'm sure you're hoping for a flute, but at least the can progresses you. Bow is another option. So that lets you go further in Pod and opens up the end of Eastern. That's a thing you want to do. Bob heading into the swamp, not having flooded it.
Yeah, unfortunately, Link doesn't quite have the ability to jump in this game. He's not going to be able to get up to that secondary ladder.
Do you think the problem is that he can't jump, or is that he doesn't have the upper body? Well, with the armor on and all the stuff he's carrying, it's probably pretty hard to pull himself over that ladder, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you've got to think, you're wearing all that mail, and you've got to be Coach's kid anyway. You're still living with your uncle, so you probably don't visit the gym that much. You skip leg day.
You know, they don't really have anything incredibly heavy, it seems. I think the heaviest thing that you could imagine would be carrying around that shovel.
Well, I mean, just think about everything in your Y menu. I mean, you're carrying around a lantern, a couple of rods, a hook shot, 2 different boomerangs.
It's a bunch of stuff. I just think the heaviest single item is most likely the shovel, unless the canes are incredibly heavy. Elias quite low on health.
And a fetch quest.
Heavy things that might help him not jump. He gets a shovel there.
Also finding a full heart. Unfortunately, not quite the Sank heart.
Seems we have summoned another item from the void with our commentator abilities.
Absolutely. So there's no way in the world they'll find the bow in the next chest. Definitely not going to happen.
I don't think it works that way, but we'll see. No big key yet, and I guess Elias is probably checking to make sure that he hadn't forgotten he'd found it. It's certainly annoying to backtrack to that big chest, but you gotta do what you gotta do when it's not there.
It can be, if it's later on, or, you know, forbid that it's on actual, if it's on the boss himself. But if you find it down here in one of these two chests, it's not as bad to backtrack from the large chest.
Finds the big key here, and might be heading back up to open that big chest. Always gotta be careful if you hold your directionals there.
Yeah, there's so many people. You'll just hold up and then go back down and then go back up.
Definitely not what he was hoping for with that backtrack.
Well, he's got the compass. He'll be able to find his way back to where he was now.
That's good. Other than the shovel, which is of questionable utility, haven't really found much of anything useful here.
No.
We're heading into fight. God, what's this one's name? This one's Argus. Okay. Too many eyeballs. Like I'm all confused.
I always get Argus and Vitreous mixed up.
Bob picking up his shovel and not far behind Elias. Maybe he'll gamble the big chest as a compass and not have to backtrack for it. You never know. That last little puff is giving Elias some trouble, but he finally gets a hold of it.
Two quick spins and down he goes.
Nothing. Guess I imagine they'll check out that shovel, hoping that it was the thing. Where do you go if the shovel isn't it?
Considering the only other thing the flipper has opened up for you is Ice Palace, I would definitely be checking shovel first.
And you get this nice little shortcut towards the dig spot, so it's not so bad checking it right now. I think Bob checked waterfall earlier?
Yeah, I think, no, Bob died. Bob died on the way to waterfall. I don't think he ever went back either.
Elias was the one who checked it, though.
Yeah, Elias checked it when he got
we know that that's not the path forward.
We have a dirty cane.
That's definitely an item that progresses you.
So now you have the first part of Turtle Rock, except for Trinex, open. You have Ice Palace open to you. double thinking it. I'm not 100% sure if Elias ever did check Waterfall. I don't know if he didn't have flippers when he was up there. On top of that, you've also got Agana, which neither of our runners have even touched anywhere near desert.
It makes sense they have no book. They don't go like rat it in with Bombo's tablet, you know?
Definitely.
But Elias seems to be heading to Eastern instead of going to Turtle Rock. So turns out that Bob's Eastern gamble might have just been evened out. Unless the thing that they need is in the big key chest or something.
In the big key chest behind Dark Room, yes, because he actually saved quit out before that. So this is going to make up a little bit of the time that DoctorBobtastic is behind here. He still doesn't have the Inner Skull Woods done, but by the time Elias finishes up this, he should at least have Arcus down.
This is definitely an interesting situation to be in with this eventual likely choice between Ice Palace and Turtle Rock. At least you can finish Ice Palace, you know?
Yeah, and a lot of Ice Palace comes down to how comfortable you are with the routing, especially specifically the bomb jump. I mean, because if you don't do that, that's a lot of extra time out, even if you do decide to full clear the dungeon.
It's been a while since we've been in Eastern, since Bob went there very early. But we already know that there's not much of anything, at least until the big key chest. No bow, so we're not going to see if anything's on Armos, but I guess we can know by item counting.
And I will say, Swamp was a healthy dungeon. I believe I had 3 full heart containers in there.
And that shovel that led to a dirty cane. Can't believe someone just put it there in that forest. Maybe Elias was counting and knows that there's nothing left in that dungeon.
Maybe.
That can't be... Is that even possible?
No, I think that might have been correct. I think that might have been all 3 items.
So there's 4 chests. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if it's the big key and then 3 items, that's all of them.
Yeah, I believe that the big key was the big key and 3 items, so the last 2 are definitely your compass and your map.
And Elias is probably going to go to Ice Palace, which I think is it's not a fun decision, but you can complete Ice Palace. You might as well do it, you know?
You might as well get out of the way. You're going to have to do it eventually anyway. Bob having a little bit of trouble getting through here. He went through once and accidentally went back the other way.
No unfortunate deaths this time.
Yeah, no getting one shot by the Zoras popping up behind you. And it looks like we're going to have some more high-five action. I think Bob's going to come over right in Ice Palace behind Elias.
Good routing with checking that waterfall cave and then using the warp, you know? So, very close now. You can't really point to any advantage one way or the other. They've pretty much... The only thing is that I don't think Bob ever checked the North Dark World stuff, you know? The bumper cave and the graveyard ledge.
And more critically, he hasn't turned in his shovel yet, so he doesn't have Cane of Samaria.
And that could play a factor in terms of if you don't know the bomb jump, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't know the bomb jump and Coldstar has a small key, then you've got to have that cane.
And even with the bomb jump and the routing through Ice Palace aside, with Elias having the cane and DoctorBobtastic not having it, this really brings it down to there's an absolute nightmare scenario for DoctorBobtastic in here, which the only item they find of use in here is the bow. And DoctorBobtastic, not having a cane, goes diving back into Eastern and Pod looking for the Cane of Samaria, whereas Elias can try to route straight over, medallion permitting, of course, into Misery Mire.
You can't get to Misery Mire quite yet without the flute.
That's true.
But you gotta think. I mean, statistically speaking, it's more likely that there's something in Turtle Rock than there is in Ice Palace. Finally seeing a shield here at 1 hour and 15 minutes.
Bob a little bit off on his bomb placement, but he's going to pick it up.
Compass and map right there, back to back.
Bob hookshotting across before hitting the switch, so we'll get to see that hookshot again. And at least he did get across with the bomb jump, so they'll both be able to finish here.
Not a lot of dungeon left for Elias here. And there is the bow. That is definitely the path that, you might want if you don't want to go into Turtle Rock right now. That opens up Pal's Darkness, and I mean, it also opens up the end of Eastern, but that's not probably useful considering they seem to have gotten all 3 items out of there already.
Yeah, and since it's just one of their normal pendants, you don't have to worry about it possibly being green, since that is Pod. Elias dropping down into his cotton candy fight, Bob running in the back half of ice.
Low health here on Elias' side for Cold Stare. Always a spooky fight. But he does have a blue potion. He's gonna drink it on 1 heart.
Bob finding Butter Sword. Did Elias skip that chest?
That is definitely interesting.
I was gonna say, I think he might have skipped Iced Tea Room.
I guess it's good that it's not something more important like flute or ice rod, but you definitely want to have that butter if you can.
Yeah, it's not going to make a huge difference, but in a race this close, seconds could come down to it.
Oh, did he realize that he was missing it?
I think he just realized that he missed an item, yeah.
That is not good news overall. Like, he is not going to save time from getting that butter from this backtrack, I don't think. And Bob won't have to backtrack, most likely, unless he forgets the bow or something. I guess when you gamble on Cold Star having the item, and it's not there, you gotta live with your decisions sometimes.
Yeah, Yeah, so once you figure Dr. Bobtastic finishes his routing here and Elias gets back down to the iced tea room, they're going to be just about synced coming out of this dungeon.
It's going to be a very interesting race. I mean, they kind of have the path forward seems to be Path of Darkness, but they can go on the Turtle Rock. That is still a possibility. I just kind of think if you're going to choose Pod over... If you're going to choose Turtle Rock over Pod, you might have chosen Turtle Rock over Ice Palace, too.
Very much so. The only downside, or the only other thing, of course, being, hey, I can actually complete Ice Palace where I couldn't complete Pod originally.
Yeah.
Bob opting to drop down in here for a couple of fairies wants that little bit of safety.
I don't think he has a potion or anything like Elias did, unless he bought it when he turned on the mushroom and I just missed it.
Very true. However, he does have bombos to crack the shell for minimal magic if he wants, and a Brian and Butter Sword, so it's not exactly going to be a long fight. That's, what, 3 slashes per part of Quartz there?
Very manageable without weapon upgrade. Elias is going to pick up his Butter Sword. Not sure that's what he wanted, but I guess it's better than nothing.
Yeah, definitely not what he wanted to see, but it is, not a bad constellation prize.
Seems that questions? We're gonna go check Agnes Cave, maybe?
Yeah, looks like he's finally gonna take the route over to have somebody head toward Desert and check out Agna.
Might get a view of what's on the ledge, too, though they can't get it right now, because no flute or book. But they might not check it out at all, because they know they can't get it. At what point is DoctorBobtastic going to pick up that shovel, do you think? The shovel location where you can find the cane. Think it's going to be soon?
I want to say it's soon, just so to keep this even, but he's already got the Grove, the South of Grove, pretty much everything over on South Dark World. He's got no reason to go back there besides the shovel. Or I could be made a liar and he's going there right now.
It's definitely good that he's going there for an even race. And Elias is heading towards Pod.
Yeah, Elias seems like he's going to go ahead and take the chance on Pod here. He's still got a lot of items left in there, plus Green Pendant. He did check Agna, did not check the ledge.
Now, it's interesting. This is technically speaking, required Pod backtrack if there's something good in there,
Yeah, required Pod backtrack for the bow having been in Ice Palace, or at least via the logic.
Of course, I mean, you could have fake flippers there, but neither of them did, because they didn't really need to.
Let's be honest. Ice Palace is one of those places where you don't want to have to go there so early that you're fake flippering, simply because it's a pain in the rear.
Now, I can complete Pod, and it is a green pendant. So I think that that evens up the decision between Pod and Turtle Rock,
We have an interesting play. Bobtastic's heading back over to East Death Mountain. He could be making the Turtle Rock play.
That will definitely be a very major source of change in the lead of this race if that pays off. Because for now, Elias is definitely in the lead until this gamble pays off or doesn't, considering Bob still has to go back to Skullwoods and finish it off.
And with some minor route divergences or switching things up a little bit, they've pretty much been in the same place or going one place and then switching locations immediately afterwards. This has been pretty even all around.
Now, with the green pendant, and knowing we already found an item, Turtle Rock and Pod have the same number of items, so it was a 50-50 choice, basically, though I think I would probably say that Pod is faster, maybe?
I'd definitely say the Pod's faster, and Pod's something that you can actually finish to the end, so you know you're not going to have to dip it again. This would already be a required double dip if there's something in here.
Of course, you got the consideration that there could be an item on Trinex, and unless Bob finds the ice rod in here, that's not going to be available to him. Finds a blue boomerang so far. Not the coup he wants, I think.
No, definitely not the item he's looking for, but an item nonetheless. Elias heading toward the, as one of our recent casters referred to it, the party in the back section of Pod here.
Bunch of items back here. There's 2 in the maze plus the big chest, and then there's 2 in the upper room to the right here, and there's 1 in the bottom room, and there's 1 in the middle. Tons of items. And he's hoping that with all these items here, maybe he can find something.
Oh, Bob's got to be careful. Heart and a half.
Oh, and he makes it out of there. That's real scary when you're 1 hit away from death from those chain shops. So don't mess around.
I couldn't. I would have went straight for the can of burner there. No way.
We're almost 90 minutes in, and you gotta say at some point that the pedestal dream is still alive. If they find the book, it could be the flute, and it could always be Ice Rod or the Mire Medallion.
Even worse, it could be the book on pedestal and flute on the ledge.
It can't be because desert is a pendant.
Oh, right.
That's why I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That's how I'm thinking about it. Because desert's a pendant, you've got to find the book before flute is possible.
So yeah, it could be. It still could be flute, but that's really about it that I'm seeing here. Unless it's Quake, and Quake's require. Oh, Bob, no.
Not fun to die. But Elias hasn't found anything here in Pod. So if Pod is a total blank, it could be that Bob is still sitting pretty with the Turtle Rock gamble.
Yeah, so he's got what? He's got the chest. He's got the chest, and the big key chest in the middle. He's got the big chest itself. He's got 4 on Laser Bridge, and then that's about it. Mimic Cave.
Now, what would be interesting is if he gets like the flute or something here in Turtle Rock, and then the Ice Rod is in the Mire area, and it's a required Turtle Rock backtrack to go with your required. Well, it's not a required pod backtrack unless something's on Trinex or on Helmosaur. I just did the same thing you did.
Yeah, it's, quadrupedal animals. They're all the same.
One's got a mask. One's got a bunch of heads. It's fine. But for now, at least, unless Helmosaur has the flute or the ice rod, Elias's a choice to go to pod hasn't seemed to pay off. But what a good 50-50 chance here.
Oh, when we have the last fetch quest item for DoctorBobtastic, that's a bad feeling.
It could be something important. It could be nothing, but you don't know yet.
Better to find it in the dungeon than find it on pedestal.
Yeah. Elias is fighting Helmosaur. Got the name right this time, but we'll have to see. I don't know if he has an item or not, but that's Elias's last hope if so. As far as fetch quest items go, the powder is a really nice one to have.
Ice Rod off of Helmosaur. We have a required double dip independent pod.
That is definitely an interesting look. But that still leaves some possibilities here.
And unfortunately for DoctorBobtastic, that means that this run's only going to end in tears into Turtle Rock.
There's still some chests that could have stuff, but he's gonna have to come back, guaranteed. And Elias is gonna turn in that green pendant, so maybe there's more value than we expected out of pod. But it does not seem that's the case.
Nope, just Sasha sends his love. The rare 100 for DoctorBobtastic.
There's still those laser bridge chests, but it's not gonna work out right. And you gotta think that there's something in there now that Elias has the ice rod, and maybe the thing that's in there is on Trinex. What a seed, if that would be.
Yeah, in order for this to not come out as a absolute tragedy right now, we need to find pretty much the only hope left right now is you need to see a fluke coming in before Trinex.
I mean, even then, he's gonna have to come back to Turtle Rock, and that's not the situation you want to be in.
Very true, but at the very least, it is Turtle Rock, and it's right next to Ganon's Tower if you have to come back to it last.
Elias using a rarely used shop there in Death Mountain.
I'm sure that shopkeeper supports his patronage. I'm sure he doesn't get, especially with us speedrunners, he doesn't get very many visits in there.
It's lonely behind that wall.
Bob's sparing no time. He's going to take the safety immediately.
What a strangely linear seed, though. With flippers to Ice Palace to bow to pod to Ice Rod to potentially Trinex.
DoctorBobtastic down to his last chest here. Oh, just a heart piece.
So now he kind of has his path determined for him.
Yeah, it's definitely now completely linear for him. He has to go to Pod and then come from Pod to wherever that leads him, which is going to be, unfortunately, back to Turtle Rock.
He might turn in the well, no. I was like, he could turn in the powder, which that might be what he's doing, or he's going to Skullwoods or something.
If I was in his spot, if I'm in DoctorBobtastic shoes right now myself, I just did Turtle Rock and I got nothing for it. I've got to be feeling behind. I've got to make a play. I think you turn in powder, you go finish Skullwoods while you're over here, and then you head straight for Pod. You go clean up everything you can.
Yeah, we'll have to see what powder ends up being here for him. But whatever it is, Elias is going to have it and the ability to complete Turtle Rock as well.
It's time to see if the Mad Batter pays off.
But
he has no magic. Oh no. Oh, that's got to be the worst feeling.
It's not what you want when you're in a hurry to get over there. He's gonna dig for some, it seems.
He's gonna dig for magic. And this gets a full drop off the guard.
Works out. I'll take it.
Good guy guard providing all the magic.
Elias having a less spooky trip through Chain Room. What's gonna be on this bat?
Moment of truth. Nope,
that
just
not
20. So from here, you have to think, what's going on? What's next? At this point, you either have pretty much nothing left. It either has to be book on Trinex or flute on Trinex.
There's just so few chests left. You know?
I mean, we've had pretty much a full overworld clear at this point. I'm trying to think of anything at all that they might have skipped that they have access to, and there's really nothing left.
Like, I mean, even just overall, there's so few chests left, even the ones I don't have access to yet. Like, there's 2 in Desert, there's 2 in Mire.
Yeah, there's 2 in Desert, 2 in Mire, the 2 in Mire Shed, the 1 in Checkerboard Cave, and the Ledge.
So you've got to think. Trinex has to be either the book or the flute. Unless we're missing a chest that we haven't thought about.
Or the both items that we're looking for is in Double-Chested Fairy, since Turtle Rock
That's true.
is the other one of those 2. Moth did not drop anything, Yoshimitsu. Both items were found super early in Skullwoods.
Missing that bomb there. Take another shot at it for Elias.
As long as he didn't turn around and activate the laser, he's okay. Trust me, having done that, when I'm trying to derust on Randomizer, and you're not thinking and you accidentally turn around in that room, it's just the worst feeling ever.
Have some mimic friends in this cave here. Taking them out with the butter sword, pretty easy. We know that doesn't really lead to anything. The only questionable thing here is what does Trinex have? And as far as we can tell, it's got to be Book or Flute, or it's in Fat Fairy. Fortunate fairy drop for Bob there. Well, it wasn't a fairy drop, it was he patted it, sorry. Silly me.
No, but it puts him in a nice position. Red mail, yeah. 14 hearts, over half magic meter.
He has the option of that powder that Elias didn't have when he came through, because the powder was here in Turtle Rock.
And that's one thing I'll say about 26 logic is I very rarely, especially in the qualifier seeds or in any other seeds I've played since then, you don't find the powder early that often unless it's leading to something required off the batter itself.
Bob finishing off Skull Woods. I think he knew that it wasn't going to lead to anything, but yeah, complete that crystal at some point. And without the flute imminent, you might as well do it when you're in town already, you know?
Yeah, definitely. So Bob, quitting out to Link's house, heading down over, you've got to think he's had the pod. That's the only play left.
And it's a long trip to get that ice red.
Yeah, being off of Helmasar itself, that means he's going to full clear pod, which isn't the worst thing ever with the mirror, but it's still time.
Gotta get a small key from its vanilla location there, Elias does. He makes it work. No safety ledge for Elias. But we're coming up to a potential moment of truth. What is the path forward going to be? Because it's got to be flute or buck. It's more likely to be flute, just considering there's more options when you get flute. Because flute opens up the mire area, potentially mire, and desert, whereas the book only opens up desert.
Yeah, you would have to think this is going to be the flute, and if this does happen to not be the flute and happens to be the book, that's going to lead you to a very, very big feels bad moment going into desert.
Buttersword helping him out finish off this three-headed Iraq thing.
Isn't he glad he went back to Ice Palace now?
I think you always gotta take what you get there. It's certainly better than rupees, like we said, and it sure helps out with the harder bosses. It'll pay dividends on Ganon and Ganon's Tower for sure. That seems like a long way off, and we still have that one crystal looming.
It's the flute.
So now off to Mire we go. That is probably go mode, unless the Mire medallion is quick.
We've got the swag duck, but we're not sure that we're out of the woods yet. There could always be a quack involved.
I mean, even if there's only so many places quick can be at this point.
Yeah,
you know,
it's not quite go mode yet, Yoshimitsu. We're in Schrodinger's go mode here. You're in go mode until it's revealed you're not in go mode.
The odds are good that quick isn't necessary, but the thing is like I said, even if it's not necessary, I mean, even if it is necessary, then it's got to be in desert or the Mire area. There's nowhere else left.
Well, there's always one place left.
I guess there's Fat Fairy as well, yes.
There's Fat Fairy, but this does open up so many options. He's got 2 chests of Fat Fairy, 2 in the Mire shed, 1 in the checkerboard, 2 in Mire itself. So it's 7 locations.
Plus the pedestal.
Well, yeah. So chat, your only chance left for a troll here is the book's buried in the book's somewhere, and they have to go to pedestal to get Quake.
Or there's some edge cases here, because what it could be is that the book is on pedestal and Quake is on a tablet, but it's probably
that's
not
true.
This is a lot of worrying for. Is that Quake? Oh,
that's Quake.
God.
That is Quake. Oh my
the dream's
god!
Alive. It's probably still in this area.
Elias looking at his menu for a good 10 seconds there in disbelief.
But I mean, there's still some chests. There's options. There's 5 chests here.
There's 5 chests. He's not sunk yet. But I'm feeling that Yoshi may have just jinxed his friend here.
There's 6. Because there's 3 here, and then 2 in desert, and then ledge. So 6 here. Fat Fairy, and pedestal.
Alright, yeah, here we go. We got 4 to go. Got 3 to go.
I don't remember to check.
And he's just fluting right out. He hasn't checked. He's gonna go check Mad Batter now.
I mean, this is not gonna work out for him, but you gotta feel pretty bad for Bob here. Gonna have to go all the way to try and actually get this flute. And then, what kind of nonsense could still be left?
We're in the midst of finding it with Elias here, but Bob is in. You've got to root for all of our runners here, but Bob's got a long uphill grind left. He has to finish pod, and then he has to turn around and go right back up to Turtle Rock. Now the question is, if you're feeling behind, and if you've tried to crunch the numbers in your head while you're running, do you take the gamble and just finish Eastern out of that long shot? I mean, you're already here.
I don't know that that's
it's a long shot.
Right call, but
it's not the right call in any means.
Did Elias never check?
No, he didn't. He'd never. I don't think he ever went back and checked Waterfall.
Okay, that's what I thought. So that makes sense. This is a little more dense than desert at this point. But wow, really holding off the suspense here.
You know, it's a more dense, but having not checked ledge, you've got 3 items right there. You were already in the vicinity. I don't think I could have passed up, at least looking in the front part of desert.
I mean, it's time neutral. He's gonna flute out of there and go to desert now. I think that's his only option. Wow, what? There's so few chests left in this game. That could be, or kind of quick sitting there on the ledge, and we could have known the whole time. He's gonna feel real silly if it ends up being there on the ledge, because they could have checked that when.
And he still hasn't checked the ledge.
What? It's suspenseful. There's options.
That's
one of the 2 items. There's 3 chests left in the game. 3 items left in the game before pedestal.
Red shield. It's not in desert. We have double-chested fairy, and we have ledge. Oh no! Ledge!
Check. We just didn't see. Maybe he's flying. I guess
he's going straight to bat. Yeah.
Surely he checked, right?
He didn't. Because he didn't mirror in the normal spot. He mirrored way up north behind the back entrance.
Maybe check Agama. We just didn't see
it.
He didn't.
I remember specifically. He went straight up to Agna on the side, and then he put out from inside.
Statistically speaking, you think it's probably Fat Fairy, but we're getting real close to a blind pedestal.
At this point, it's 66%. It's either in there or he's done for 33. So we got a little bit of time here to keep the suspense rolling, because he's got to walk the long way around since we haven't had a Naga 1 kill.
And the question is, if it's not in Fat Fairy and it's potentially on the ledge, is he gonna remember that? Is that did he forget? He might. Maybe he mentally checked it off when he did Agana. You know.
It's very possible, but you'd have to think you would at least accidentally check, having to go back to the desert to finish it.
You'd hope. But it could end up being the pedestal, it won't matter. But we'll see. See very soon. Very suspenseful. Bob turning in his green pendant finally.
Moment of truth. Piece of heart. It's not in there.
It's on the ledge or it's on the pedestal. And he might not remember.
Some rage pulse on the wall. He cannot believe this.
If it's on that ledge, if it's on the ledge, then he would have known. Think of all the time you would have saved just checking the ledge. We'll know very soon where he flutes. Actually, I guess we won't because he can go to well. I mean, if he goes to desert. No. We're going to
God, he forgot.
We're
He's
getting
going
the
right back
pedestal.
Eastern. We're getting the pedestal.
Now, will Bob check the ledge? We really hope. Is Bob okay?
I don't see anything showing from Bob's end. Not sure what happened there.
Anyone see? Like his emulator is still running, clearly.
Yeah, obviously I can see everything there. But oh no, he didn't lock up or anything, did he? I know he had. I'm pretty sure he had just finished pod.
Well, I mean, he checked. What's his face? Sahashala. So
yeah.
even if something crashed or something,
I hope that he got a save and quit in.
Oh, he's offline. Okay.
Okay, he's offline. That's right.
Suspenseful moment. Oh wow. The question: will Elias check the ledge at all on his way to desert? I don't think so. Maybe a blind pedestal pull would be real interesting.
It would be, and at this point, especially with an unknown going on for Dr. Bob here, the worst feeling ever is you blind pull pedestal without checking ledge, and it's actually on the ledge. Or even worse yet, it's not on pedestal, and the book's on pedestal. So now you have to go check Bombos and Ether.
Yeah. But wow, what a seed.
This definitely started really well. We had a pretty good opening, a lot of early items to help the runners, and it's just been not linear and troll ever since.
Yeah, the linearity really did not help Bob out, because that trip into the Turtle Rock, paying out with absolutely nothing, was rough. And the worst thing is that there was something in Turtle Rock. It was on the one place that he couldn't get to.
Elias stealing the lunch off the Armos and getting a second pendant for his troubles.
Moment of truth might be soon.
Oh, we're back. DoctorBobtastic is back, and he's already on his rerun through Turtle Rock.
Okay, onward to desert. Will he check the ledge? Just to double check. I don't think so.
All right.
You got to be committed at this point.
Right in the Dark World.
I feel like you have to be committed at this point.
And again, he's taking as far back as he can on the mirror without actually going into the.
I mean, this could end up getting Bob back into the race even, if he really doesn't know it's there.
Wait, did Elias get the big key on the first run through here, or did he put out for the second item?
I don't know.
I'm not sure he got the big key.
Well, I mean, he would have had to have got the big key, or no, because he didn't go check the.
No, the second item. Second item was over on the east side.
Yeah, and he didn't check the vanilla big key chest, I guess. So we'll see how that goes. But like I'm saying, the book potentially being on the ledge, that could get Bob back in the game if Elias just doesn't know, you know?
Exactly. Oh, Elias.
Gonna realize he doesn't have that big key real soon. Maybe that's the time when he finally checks the ledge.
Q rage slashes in 4, 3, 2.
And he's dashing back out.
And he's not even gonna be here.
That's frustrating. Are we gonna find out, or is he just gonna go straight on?
Please go south. So please go south.
No. Wow. This is too suspenseful. I mean, you don't think it would have been. If you would have told me when DoctorBobtastic had find out that there's nothing in Toad Rock, whether this would be this suspenseful in 10 or 20 minutes, I wouldn't have been. But you never know until the end now. Let's see, pulling out all the stops.
This is the seat's definitely just, showing no mercy to these runners, none at all.
And it's such a small thing, just checking that ledge. You don't think that it would be that important, but 2 chests left in the entire game. Still no check. Every time he passes it, we just want to know. It's Schrodinger's item location. It is both a book or
it's a book, it's a Quaker, it's 20 rupees. Yeah. I mean, it's all at the same time right now.
So the thing, Sakura, is that the Mystery Mire medallion is Quake, and that's the one they don't have. And there are 2 possible locations that are accessible to Elias right now: the pedestal or the ledge item that hasn't been checked in Desert. He is going to blind pull pedestal, it seems, hoping it's either the book or Quake. If it's Quake, obviously he can just go do Mire. But if it's book, it's going to be on a tablet.
Or he's going to blind pull a book, go check some tablets without checking ledge.
That's going to be the real questionable thing. Is what does he do if book's on that ledge? That's the thing that's up in the air.
Oh, books in the ledge is no question. Well, at this point, since you've already got the pendant, you might as well go pull. I mean, get it out of the way first without having to get the long route, especially with either tablet.
We don't know. He must not know that anything's there. I don't think this is a gamble, because it's a real weird gamble. So,
well, we're about to have our pedestal pull.
But are we gonna get a ledge check by DoctorBobtastic?
I really hope so.
Gonna find out that Quake is what's necessary to get into Mire very soon, and now the hunt begins for DoctorBobtastic. He was sure that he'd be able to go right in there, but that does not seem to be the case. Now, is the book going to be on the pedestal? Required blind pedestal pull, if so.
I'm hoping so much it is.
What a seed, if that were the case.
Get your pedestal hypes ready, here it comes. Alright. It's Quack!
Now the question is Book still on the ledge? Because Book could still be there. But it's probably in Ganon's tower.
Yeah, Book's probably in Ganon's tower, buried with the cape. And the bug bat.
Looks like Bob might be checking that ledge. We'll finally know. It is not a book. Maybe he knew. I just can't believe it.
Another late night troll seed for the secondary race. I'm gonna think. I actually don't think this one's Sakura's fault.
But Elias is now at 1 hour and 58 minutes in go mode.
And at least he gets to quick run through Mire.
He has checked every location in the game, except for the 2 places in Mire that he didn't have access to until just now. He also didn't check the ledge item, but as we know, there's nothing there. That's as full clear can get.
Yeah, this is definitely going to, when it comes right down to it, this is probably going to be a 200 plus on the checks.
But let's just think about the seed for a moment. We had Okay, where did it even start? Where do you start? You just gotta start with the flippers, right? Was there something before the flippers? I don't think so. The flippers.
No, not really.
Pendant pod, and then that led everyone to Swamp, which gave us the shovel to get the cane, which was necessary later, but it also, logically speaking, opened up Ice Palace. Of course, they could have gone before by like Fippering, but that's not what anyone did. And in Ice Palace, there was a bow.
There was also no, you're right. Then we had the bow out of Ice Palace, which led us back into Pod to go get the ice rod off of Helmassar, so we could do Turtle Rock and get the flute.
Off of Trinex. And then, all that done, finally we get the flute. We have to go all the way down to Desert to find that there's nothing in there, except for a pendant that we need to open to blind pull the pedestal. Required blind pull. Bob getting his first look at Agana. He's gonna have to go through the same thing. Like, you save the blind pedestal pull for last. That's just kind of the way the world works, right?
Yeah.
Unless Bob, knowing he made that bad gamble in Turtle Rock, is just gonna say, okay, let's go. Which I guess that's what he's doing, because did he do Desert? I don't think so.
No, he hasn't done Desert yet, and he's actually passed up, I believe, the double-chested fairy in order to go straight into Eastern.
So at this point, this has got to be a blind pedestal gamble, right? Which is the right call. We know that is what he needs to be doing. And if he saves those checks, they'll save him some time. It's probably too little too late in this case, but stranger things have happened.
And even with as loaded as they are on items, this could still come down to how well does your Ganon play.
Understandably loaded, considering they've checked basically every chest in the game up to this point. Maybe Elias has skipped some minor chests. I haven't really been paying close attention to his search for the big key, which is necessary in there. And now that he's on his way to fight Vitreous, last thing standing between him and Ganon's tower.
So now the question comes down to, Zoo, are we going to go full troll? Is the big key in the tile room?
You gotta think that surely the seed has to have some mercy at some point, right? It doesn't have to, but you just gotta think that maybe.
Look at Link. Does this look like the face of mercy to you?
It's just so much clearer. Like, you can't even... there's nothing you can do when you check on your locations, but I think you have to commend our runners for doing the best they can to make their checks as efficient as possible, because there's only so much you can do against the force of a required blind pedestal, though, you know?
Exactly, and you gotta even do that. Even DoctorBobtastic, who is admittedly running a little bit behind here, is just 2 hours in and legitimately still on the edge of, you know, pulling out a really good time for a required blind pedestal check.
Yeah, and without his unfortunate Turtle Rock gamble, this would be a very different race. He has not played poorly at all. It's just a literal 50-50 chance between Turtle Rock and Pod.
And that just comes back to one of the reasons that we all love Randomizer. That it really hasn't been bad play, you know, in any nature of bad play. It's just been choices. DoctorBobtastic's early Eastern gamble, which didn't pay off. His early Turtle Rock gamble, which didn't pay off.
Well, the Eastern gamble wasn't so bad now that we know that you had to clear it anyway. But...
oh no, where's DoctorBobtastic going? Is he trying to go to pedestal without the third pendant?
I guess so. Did he clear Desert off screen? And I didn't notice. I don't think so.
No, he was back in Turtle Rock. I don't think he did. I'm 90% sure he hasn't done Desert.
Well, he'll find out real soon. Maybe he thinks he has the book and he wants to read it. I know. That's not gonna work out for you. Just realize that's not the option here. Unfortunate, because like he's obviously betting on this blind pedestal pull, you know. So let's hope he just searches for that big key. Now he's gonna end up clearing all of Desert anyway, because the big key is at the end of it's in its own location.
Yeah, at the very least, he doesn't have to backtrack for the big chest, and he can skip the torch as soon as he sees the 50 rupees.
Elias is finally entering Ganon's tower. So now, officially, how many locations is Elias going to check before finding that big key? I'm going to say 2. I'm going to say small key, big key, and the Cid will finally show some mercy.
Oh no, it's in tower.
Definitely a possibility.
I think did DoctorBobtastic just go straight to the end without going in the main part of Desert?
No, I think because he has Fire Shield, he obviously went into the other part of Desert.
Oh, correct.
So he might have the big key unless he did the same thing that Elias did right up. But he has big key.
Yep, yeah, he has big key. Great.
The small key in the left chest and
big key. Nice call.
Actual wizardry. So the scene has finally shown a measure of mercy and given us a small key and a big key, and now Elias can go straight up. That's a good call on my part, but it wasn't that I was psychic. I just really hoped, for Elias' sake, that was the case. For both of our runners, because Bob will be there not too long afterwards.
No, he's definitely just not far behind. He's got a couple Labolas to kill, 1 pedestal to pull, and then a quick run through Mire.
What a scene. Like I said, our runners have both been playing well. Bob, unfortunately, with the TR gamble, got put pretty far behind. But just a huge shout out for our runners for coming and putting on this great show, because this has been a hell of a scene. So please follow DoctorBobtastic and Elias. That's not the right command. Elias heading up Ganon's tower. He's definitely got a full suite of options offensively to handle his tower.
He definitely does, and so far so good. Pretty clean gauntlet first room, coming into the second.
And Bob finally getting his chance to help blind pedestal pull. He still has options left, so this blind pedestal pull gamble is the right call for him. And I mean, knowing that his opponent hadn't finished, and that's, I think, the important thing here. Knowing his opponent hadn't finished yet, he knows it's probably not somewhere obvious like Fat Fairy or, I guess that's his only option at this point. It's probably not Fat Fairy because his opponent hasn't finished yet. So, right call, definitely a good call there to blind pull this pedestal and save the check of Fat Fairy.
Elias running a little low here.
Oh, and hitting the fire circle instead of the skull guy there. Unfortunate error. But that blue potion sure worked numbers on his safety there. And that potion, if you'll recall, he actually got in the very rarely seen shop inside of Death Mountain. So that paid off. That excursion there way earlier has definitely paid off in terms of his ability to feel confident going up the rest of this tower.
Yeah, at least it's definitely saved him a possible return trip up the gauntlet.
DoctorBobtastic finally seeing inside of Mire. What a trip it's been to get inside this dungeon. Because you couldn't have even gotten in the area without the flute from Trinex. which you couldn't have gotten to you without the ice rod from Helmasaur, which you couldn't have gotten without the bow from Ice Palace. I want to say that Elias used his first potion on Cold Stare. I think I remember that.
Yeah, he used blue and Cold Stare, and he just uses red, so he's running on empty now. I think he's pretty much out of any of his safeties other than his obvious Cane of Burner.
So where do you think Wookie is? You think it's hiding on the right side against tower or left side or anywhere? It's probably a big chest, right?
It's a big chest, yeah. Elias finding himself yet another bottle, this time with a fairy.
It's definitely nice to find here at the end when you just burned your last potion, presumably. Very fortunate. So he does have powder and no bug net though. Never mind. So that is an incredibly nice find when you don't have a bug net. Speaking of bug net, they've checked so many chests and still no bug net. Unfortunate. Or cape.
Something might be in a validation chest.
Sure as possible. And it's the
Or it could be a compass.
You will know the way to Ganon 2. What a validation here at 2 hours and 11 minutes for blind pedestal pull. Guess you gotta be feeling pretty confident at this point, you know?
I feel if you're Elias and you're 210 plus N and you're just by Diagna, you've got to have that little feeling in the back of your mind that, you know, this was a blind pedestal pull seed. I'm feeling okay right now.
Yeah, and he made the right calls in terms of the blind pedestal pull, I think, overall. You can't... Who's gonna gamble it when you don't feel like you're behind like Bobtastic was, you know? He's gambling it knowing that he made that Turtle Rock play, and he chose the right gamble because Blind Pedestal Pull gave us the Quake Medallion. Elias finishing off Ganon 2 here.
Nice double by Elias to end it off.
Saved himself a cycle.
Definitely some frustration here. He's thinking he's behind or he's dead even at this point.
I mean, I think maybe you can't really expect someone to be ahead of you if they're not done, you know? In this case. Because you have to realize you had that 50-50 chance between Turtle Rock and Pod.
I mean, I can... from an outside perspective, I can say, you know, your opponent has it done, you're on Ganon, and you didn't make any bad choices. You have to feel pretty confident, but in the heat of a race, you're just constantly just double-checking IRC, waiting for that dot.
Or maybe you're not, if that's too stress-free for you, because I know some people don't check, you know? Wow, let's see. In the final moments of the seed, onward to phase 3 for Elias, and that gold sword that he got from backtracking in Ice Palace, after gambling that Cold Star had an item, gonna help him out to finish this one off really easily. He has that fairy backing him up.
Ganon finally stops playing Dancing with the Stars and lets him get that 4th hit on phase 3.
Misses the torch glitch, but that's not a very big deal when you have butter, and butter's relevant, but when you have the silvers. I guess butter's sort of relevant when you think about the fact that you got into this phase so easily with Magic and Heart's Despair.
Yep, looks like this is going to be it, and there he goes.
Finally. What a seed.
What a seed indeed.
Done in IRC. A final time of 2:14.21. And I can't really complain about that time when you think about a blind pedestal pull.
Yeah, no, for pretty much a complete, that's nearly a 100% rando run on this. This was not a bad time at all.
And the seed even apologizes for it. Oh, man.
After that, it had better.
Bob is in the last part of Misery Mart here. Fight Vitreous and then head his way to Ganon's Tower, where hopefully he won't do any weird gambles and find those keys right next to each other in the right side there.
Oh, well, what a run from just our runners! That, you know, putting up with everything, the harshness of the linearness of the seed, just completely.
Yeah, you've got to give some real props to our runners for sticking through that, because what a seed! I can't say it enough. Like, what a seed! DoctorBobtastic finally about to flute towards Ganon's Tower here. Bob's got to make his way up to Ganon's Tower and hopefully find those keys, but it's pretty likely he'll see them quite soon.
Yeah, I see a less than 0% chance he's going to skip that big key.
If you want to make some guesses about Box for Elias, you might recall that boots were quite early.
Yeah, boots were extremely early in this seed, so...
They were in Kakariko somewhere, maybe?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, they were in... I believe they were in Kakariko. I want to say the Sick Kid had them, or... No, but they were definitely in Kakariko.
I think they were Sick Kid, actually. No, we'll find out, I guess. Yeah, the Running Man Kid. So, I guess that's our sign that you did remember correctly. You had the boots. So lots of potential for Box between getting them in Kakariko and then this incredible seed with all of the dungeons cleared. We're going to try to get Elias in here for an interview if we can. And DoctorBobtastic finally sensing the moments of mercy from this seed, giving that small key and that big key and heading straight up towards the gauntlet.
Alright, and we're now joined by our winner, Elias8885. GG, man.
Dr. Bob making his way up the tower still. Helped out by his massive amount of offensive options, like we said before.
Still on his way to GT. Did he end up doing Turtle Rock before one of the pendant dungeons?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did Turtle Rock when he went to Pod.
Oh, that oof.
So I guess we'll start there. Was that an option in your mind when you went to Pod?
I considered it, but I've probably played about 6 or 7 practice seeds over the last week and a half. Every single one has had an item in Pod. So, I don't know. The 6 items with the green pendant, I don't know. It felt like a safe enough bet.
I mean, it was like level 5 because you'd already found the flippers in there.
Yep. Oh, that's right. I dipped in earlier.
The required backtrack, technically speaking, in the Pod. But I think that's the biggest question here is like pure 50-50 between Turtle Rock and Pod. And that was definitely Pod was the right call there. But were you thinking at the end, going up to Helmasaur, that maybe that wasn't the right choice, or were you just because it was nothing up until the end?
I was starting to doubt myself pretty bad. I was trying to debate if there's anything else I'd missed because I really did not want to have to go up to TR twice.
Like you had already been to Pod twice, but
yeah,
that was technically required by the logic in this case.
Yep.
Yeah, the two of you were basically playing pretty well neck and neck and just switching off locations the other one did one after another. The only real routing difference, as he said, is Bob decided that he wanted to go to Turtle Rock first, and he actually did an early dip into Eastern, which didn't quite pan out.
There's another question we have for you.
Uh-huh.
When do you think you checked the ledge item in the desert?
Oh.
was that a thing that you forgot about, or?
Yeah. I was
You made the right call. It was just a piece of heart, but we were real spooky.
It was a piece of luck's what it was.
See, the thing was is that DoctorBobtastic hadn't checked it either until he got to that point.
Oh, wow.
So when you were going into the Fat Fairy and pulled the pedestal, when you pulled the pedestal, we still didn't know what the outcome was going to be. So it was suspenseful up until that point.
Well, I'm glad I kept it exciting.
Because we were worried for you, and that we didn't know if that was in your mind at all. So
no, I'd marked it off as that I'd already checked it, and I think my last seed I checked it early because I got an early practice.
Maybe when you checked Diagonal, you mentally checked that off, but
yep.
It ended up working out for you, but that was spooky for us. Because I mean, we had to count it down, as I'm sure you were. That getting to that point, there's a point where it's Fat Fairy or pedestal, you know?
Yep.
But,
and then I didn't see the book anywhere. I don't think I could have missed it at this point, so it must have been in GT.
We haven't seen it either, so it must be in Ganon's Tower somewhere.
Oh, a blind pedestal. What a way to start a tournament.
Required blind pedestal pull. It's incredible. But you really made the right calls there. I will ask you about this one particular one though. When you went to Swamp without the flippers, that was interesting. How did that one feel? Couldn't Swamp?
Yeah, could just complete mind blank. It was.
It wasn't that bad overall, but
no,
we definitely all noticed that one.
Yeah, it's a little late, so little not thinking perfectly straight, and that was I was like, okay, which crystal can I at least do something in, and I completely forgot that I couldn't. That I needed flippers and Swamp somehow.
Yeah, credit to both of you. You and DoctorBobtastic here. You guys have put on a marathon scene here for us. I mean, and it may have been unfortunate at the time, but just little entertaining things. Your deciding to try to learn to swim a little bit early in swamp. The visit to the backside of desert without the large key. DoctorBobtastic visiting the pedestal without finishing desert.
Oof.
Yeah, I mean, you went into desert, to the second half of desert, not with the big key.
Yep. I'm very bad for doing that too.
I think it makes sense in the scheme of things, but because you got that second item and you're like, well, I guess I must be done with desert now.
Yep.
There's surely no way that this required blind pedestal pull. It makes sense. I don't think I can fault you too much for that one, because who thinks about that,
Yep. I think I would have remembered if I hadn't already, hopped in and grabbed the items. Maybe.
One other thing that we were questioning, and not really questioning, but watching in retrospect, because you two were basically neck and neck going into that dungeon, was your decision to go straight to Cold Stare and then having to duck back in to go to Iced Tea for the sword upgrade.
At that point, I thought I was behind, and I thought I was behind by a decent amount. I was like, if I could skip a chest, get lucky, and maybe Cold Stare drops the last thing. Was hoping to maybe shave a minute or two there.
What made you think that you were behind at that point? I mean,
paranoia at that
I guess
point.
that's how it feels. You always think you're behind until you're not done, and they haven't done it yet, right?
Yep.
DoctorBobtastic and his Aghanim fight is not going. Oh no!
Oh no!
And he didn't grab that chest up in the double helmet room.
Oh.
Now, at the point when you did the gamble on the Ice Palace, from our vantage point of being able to see everything, you weren't really behind. DoctorBobtastic had done Eastern very early for no payoff. Well, not done Eastern, went into Eastern and wasn't able to complete it because no bow, obviously. And then he went to Skullwoods without completing it as well. So he was, behind you because of the Eastern trip, and also had the looming Skullwoods backtrack. So you were still ahead of him coming out of the backtrack of ice. And it wasn't until the point at the end of Swamp where, it's the end of Ice where you had to decide between Pod and Turtle Rock.
That sounds like it'll be a fun one to watch back over later.
Yeah, it was incredibly suspenseful, waiting to find out whether the blind pedestal pull was really going to be the way forward. Because what my pet theory was booking pedestal and then Quake on a tablet, but it seemed it was a little kinder than that.
Yeah, I was waiting for that at that point.
But a little bit of mercy, and instead of that, we just get the Quake medallion outright, and then thankfully, in Ganon's tower, just giving us those keys straight up.
Oh gosh, yes, that was at that point. Anything it's willing to hand me, I will take wholeheartedly.
DoctorBobtastic making his harrowing second trip through the tower here. Unfortunate, thanks to his death on Aghanim, and he wasn't as forthright in preparing safeties like your potion bias. He hasn't really gone forward with that. You did the trip into Death Mountain via the potion from that shop in there. That was interesting.
Yeah, it was. I mean, no flute to go get it from the shop at that point. I don't think, if I recall correctly.
Very rarely seen option, but it saved your life later,
Yep, I've always wanted to have an excuse to go into that room.
It was gifted for you. Oh no, I'm having some problems with the cannonball room here. But if you can get across, you can always get those fairies. Oh no.
Oh god.
Oh dear.
Not that far up, so it's not a huge backtrack, but it's. I'm sure it's very frustrating to be at the end of this seed, and it's a long way up that tower still.
Yeah, there's definitely a measure of frustration sitting in here. You got to imagine just looking at his on-screen inputs and everything. Now being his 4th or 5th try at an ascent up Ganon's tower.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask you, Elias, since we have a minute here, you're not 1-0 in your group, I believe. You got a good 3 games left. How are you feeling after this initial win?
Going in, I did extraordinarily poorly in the qualifiers, so it's a nice confidence regainer at this point to have a win to start off with.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. We were doing a little bit of comparison at the start, and you and Doc were right there, pretty much neck and neck, having competed in one apiece there. But this is a real good way to start off, and good luck to both you and him in the upcoming races forward here. So, going back upon that seed real quick, did you have the feeling that this was going to troll you as hard as it did, especially when at least from our perspective, it started off so nicely with so many items gifted to you so quick?
Yeah, the fact that it gave you so much so early, you kind of get a little nervous at that point. You're like, this is too much to start. Something's got to give. So, truthfully, I was waiting for some sort of troll. I was not expecting the one we got, but
Yeah, assume that it's not pulling the punches here, but it kind of went full force. Haven't really seen a scene like this one yet.
Yeah, although I think this is what the second or third pedestal seed so far in the secondary.
Third.
There was also a race that wasn't restreamed that had a blind. Well, it wasn't it was boots on pedestal that weren't required that got pulled.
Ooh.
I don't know if that's counted in the 3 number that you're mentioning, but looking forward to your group, have you scouted out your opponents much?
I've glanced ahead a little bit. Truthfully, I don't know a lot about them. I haven't played many. I don't think I've played in any races with any of them before, so
yeah,
it'll be a good.
The one that jumps out at me is the Super Sketch. He seems like a scary opponent. Of course, Professor of Link to the Past himself, Super Sketch, makes a bunch of awesome glitch tutorials.
Oh, that's I saw his the other name he's listed as on the website, and didn't connect the two. But yeah, I've seen some of his stuff. It's been very helpful, actually.
It's really good stuff. He's incredibly knowledgeable, so hopefully we'll be seeing him before too long. I think he might have a match very soon, in fact.
DoctorBobtastic making quick work of Lamola's 2 a second time, now heading up to the top end.
He's certainly a lot healthier in this trip up, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd definitely say that he's going to take his time. He knows what's gone down. He knows what position he's in. He's just in this to finish this out and start looking forward from here.
Having some problems getting that torch lit, but
yeah, unfortunately with the fire rod, if you're just a hair too close, it won't always activate.
Of course, with the half magic and the amount of health he has and the red mail, it's not incredibly scary at this point, but definitely he definitely wants to get it over with, for sure.
All right, so while we still have Elias in here with us for a minute, we're waiting on DoctorBobtastic to finish up the rest of his tower run here. Chad, did you have any questions for our esteemed winner of our run here?
While we're waiting for some questions potentially, I want to give a huge thank you to our tracker, Blue Green Monkey, and our restreamer here, Alvi, helping us out with this race here. It was definitely a really great race, and I'm glad to have them here.
Definitely thanks to those guys. It's those behind the scenes jobs. I mean, great job to you guys, I'm sure, and I will be glad to listen back to your all's commentary on this tomorrow. But definitely also thank you to the tracker and the restreamer. Those people kind of in the background their names don't always pop to the head as quickly as the commentators or the runners. So kudos to them too.
DoctorBobtastic fighting Aghanim 2 again. I guess this makes him the real Aghanim 2 since he never fought the first one.
Aghanim 3.
Is it 3 if you haven't fought him the other time? I think
Well, that's true. This is technically 2 again.
Truly Aghanim 2.
We got a question coming in from Anthony Ballock. Other than your group, Elias, is there anybody that you know that ended up in the secondary tournament that really sticks out to you that you'd be worried about, say, if you make it through to knockout?
There's quite a few really powerful names in the secondary tournament. Lots of names from the tournament earlier this year. Mira, Zelnus, Adrianic Rick. I know those 3 just off the top of my head I remember taking notice of when I was kind of glancing through the roster. Raikou Rider. There's definitely some big names that are here in the secondary, and
yeah, it's definitely
there's quite a bit in here to worry about.
I guess you kind of gotta take it a match at a time, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely.
But taking a match at a time, you're putting yourself in a good place here, winning your first match here with this seed. And Bobtastic's looking. Oh no!
I think that might have been voluntary.
Yeah, knowing that his health was so low, has some options to hopefully restore himself and get another attempt here. But at least doesn't have to climb the tower again.
Yeah, you've got to think that now that he's got that done and out of the way, he can just calm down, flute to 2, stock up, and get going. Unfortunately, there's definitely going to be no fairies in his future. Something, no but men.
He's got plenty for potions, though. He's going to have to let this special bee out.
And the not-so-special bee.
His bee friends here. Give him a hard time for letting them free. At least take us outside, you know? Left his portal there. I was curious how to get back to the Dark World, but I forgot how he managed that. Putting it where the place it would have been if he had fought Aghanim 1 earlier, but that was, of course, not necessary.
Down we go into Ganon one more time.
He's got plenty of options here to get him through this fight, so I'm sure this will work out well for him. Understandably, taking a trip out to buy potions after being at 1 heart like that. And having that death to Aghanim 2 earlier, you know.
Taking a couple of early hits to some bats here.
Threat mail and potions, it's still a lot of wiggle room. On to phase 3, so I think he's seen the worst of it.
One blue potion down, 1 left in his inventory. little slow through his menu. I think at this point, when you're getting up toward 3 hours or over 2.5, there's definitely an element of fatigue sitting in here.
I don't know what the time zone situation is for either of our runners, but for me at least, this is a pretty late race. Missing torch clutch, but not a huge deal when you've got those silvers. In fact, it's faster if you know what you're doing to miss the torch clutch and get the doubles.
And got him. And that's done for DoctorBobtastic coming in. And we have a finish for DoctorBobtastic at 2:40.25. Let's get your GGs out for him. Well played. Good finish. And once again, just like with Elias, the Seed apologizing for that absolute runaround. Just waiting a minute here for get DoctorBobtastic in here. There we go. DoctorBobtastic. GG,
Are you
sir.
not entertained?
We all quite were.
This is what I say about this seed. This is the kind of seed I want to actually commentate one of these days.
It was incredible.
What's wrong with these people?
What you don't know is that like it was incredibly suspenseful for us even because we didn't know if the pedestal was going to pay off.
There was
until your opponent pulled it.
Yeah, there was no
because
book. We had no idea, and I'm just sitting here like, ugh.
And then the thing was for your opponent was that he never checked the ledge item in the desert, so we didn't even have the information. It was between
that makes two of us.
the ledge item, you checked it at the end. But we didn't know if that was potentially a book or what.
Yeah. Oh, I was thinking Trinex was going to drop the book. I'd have to get the flute out of desert, and I was just going to be like, ah.
And I mean, I'm sure it's obvious to you what it came down to. Your trip into Turtle Rock, but that was a pure 50-50 coin flip. Like, exact same number of items.
And I mean, I did die to Aga 2 there at the end, but I might not have been so flustered had I not been that far.
I mean, understandable. This seed did not pull the punches.
Oh, man.
Between the logically required pod backtrack and the pod to try next thing. Ugh.
Yep. I guess it wasn't technically required if you fake flippered to ice.
Of course, but as far as the logic is concerned, that's what
who's gonna willingly fake flipper to ice
that early, you know?
When you've got Palace of Darkness sitting there with 6 items this time with the green pendant and everything.
But only had one for you on your first trip because you knew
that is true. At least it was straightforward. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, You got the flippers? We're done. We're out. Whew.
But you definitely went for pedestal a little earlier than Elias did in terms of making sure he checked everything. I'm sure that was just a gamble based on knowing that the turtle rock thing didn't pay off. But
well, at that point, I think I was literally out of options.
I don't know that you checked Fat Fairy. Did you check it? And I just didn't see it.
Right,
No.
Fat Fairy was a thing, and I forgot that Turtle Rock was 5. But I was like, well...
So it wasn't a gamble. You just hadn't realized that was available to you. But either way, I mean, it wasn't like Elias got a heads up on that one. He checked everything except for the ledge item.
Of course, I did check the pedestal and then realize, oh wait, I haven't killed Landmollas.
That was quite unfortunate. But at least you had the big key to go back in there and finish it off.
Yeah. I knew I was... I just assumed I'd finished it because I was like, I got all the items, I got the big key, we're good. No.
Overall, what a seed.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't think even the best people could pull sub 2 hours on this one.
Yeah, it was definitely quite linear stacked against you here with all the double dips in the pod. The required turtle rock to go into, all the pendants.
Mm-hmm. Well, at least I know these seeds exist, and I'm glad somebody got some entertainment out of it.
I think everyone definitely enjoyed watching it. I can only speak for myself, of course, but...
I'm wondering if I actually made the 99 bonk count.
I have to say.
I'm what we call not great with the boots.
And you got them so early.
Yep.
It was so long. It's you had plenty of time to rack them up. Even if you were the best ever, that's a lot of time to buy.
All the bonks forever. Well, that I will say, despite choking there at the end, I feel pretty good. It felt it was fun.
Yeah, I mean that was after your opponent had finished. I don't think that you should be faulted for that.
Yeah, at least Ganon's tower was good to us.
Yes. a final hint of mercy.
I was like, oh, yep. Though I was sitting here like, okay, I've seen all the ridiculousness in this seed. Elias just finished. There is no way Ganon's tower is going to take that long. And so I walked in, got him, and was like, yeah.
I tried to use my commentator's curse for good. I actually called the small key big keys. But,
Nice.
That's not really a thing, but I tried my best for y'all.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the effort.
Yeah, if you watch the VOD, I apologize in advance. There's a couple of times where I'm playing, well, maybe there are flippers on pedestal, just as you guys go downstairs and pod.
He did summon the flippers from another, and I summoned the shovel from another.
Yeah, and of course the shovel leads to the cane, and it's just like, really?
I gotta ask about those. Were you thinking about the other possibilities for the pedestal?
63.
What was that? 63, nice. What was that with the pedestal?
There was another possibility for the pedestal item, which was the book. Was that a factor in your mind, or were you just trying to get through?
Like I said, I thought I was completely out of options, so I was like, that has to be the...
It has to lead it to at least.
Yeah, the book could have been there, and it could have been on one of the tablets. You're right.
Yeah,
but
I guess it was a little nicer than that.
Yeah, I have no idea where the book is. I'm just like, no, we're done here.
We have no clue either. We assume it's probably in Ganon's tower somewhere.
Yeah.
I think it has to be, unless there's an item we're forgetting.
So what was in the Fat Fairy? I assume you did that one?
Nothing.
Yeah, it was the heart container and a red ruby, I believe.
Oh boy. So
at that point,
required, ice rod on pendant, Armos.
Not Armos, Helmosaur.
Helmosaur? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's over there on the east side of Hyrule somewhere.
Okay, we got to confuse with Trinex, so you're part of the
Float
club.
from Trinex. Like, goodness. Who designed this seed?
It was brutal.
Yeah.
We appreciate
I think-
you. Make your
I
way
think it
through
was Willard who rolled this one up, so we're gonna have to get on to him.
And everyone get your hashtag blame Willards up.
Absolutely. Blame Willard all day. Still got 237, which is surprisingly close to my PB in an actual race, because I'm bad.
I think we think you did really well, and you can't always pick the right 50-50. Pure coin flip there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it was... I went up to T-Rock, and then the next thing to do was... What? Back into Pod?
Yeah.
That was the other thing? Yeah, okay. I was like, I've already been to Pod.
Yeah, it was a pure 50-50, like the exact same number of chests, because you had the extra one from the green pendant, minus the one that you had already opened that had the flippers, and then all of the chests in Turtle Rock, and the one that had the item was locked behind the ice rod that was, of course, in Pod.
So one thing about Palace of Darkness is it kind of defied my moniker for it, because I call it the Mullet of Dungeons, which is business in the front, party in the back.
Yeah, we brought that up once or twice about that, and this time it had a little bit of a party in the front for you, at least.
There was a party in the front. Slightly. And then there was a lot of business. Let's get down to business. Anyway.
So we asked Elias about this, so we're going to ask you, for fairness' sake, looking forward to your group, what are you thinking about your future?
I think
game
I am going to get literally destroyed. Have you seen this group?
Every game is its own game, you know?
Yeah. Well, okay, let's look at it this way. Elias and I believe we're the 3 and 4 seeds in this group. So what's left are the 1 and 2 seeds, and then Super Scudge, who is the guy who didn't do the qualifiers, and so he got seeded 5th. But it's Super Scudge, so come on.
Well, we of course wish you the best of luck.
If I get 1 win coming out of this group, I will be extremely happy.
I think you got a chance on Saturday's your next match, right?
Yep. Going for it against Arius.
On that one.
Arius, of course, being the 1 seed in this group, barely missing out on the main tournament. So, that'll be fun.
Good luck to both of you going forward. And
Definitely good luck on that.
Still-
Elias,
Thank you.
Elias, do you have another race already scheduled, sir?
I do not at present, no.
Well, good luck to both of you in your upcoming races. You both got 3 left in the group. Hope to see you on here again, and even on the other side, on our side of the mic here, doing some commentary, maybe for even one of our races.
Yep,
Definitely.
What can I say? I think I'm a little bit better on the commentary than I am on the game playing.
I didn't even qualify, so I guess we're in the same book.
Sounds good to me. All right. So I hope everybody has had a good time, and have we done all the shout outs and everything?
I was about to get about to that. We're gonna shout everyone out again and say thanks to you, our tracker and our restreamer. Alvi is our restreamer, and Blue Green Mikey here is our tracker. And thanks to my partner Demon RHK for commentating with me. I had a good time.
Thanks to you as well, Zoo. Also, good shout out to all of our admins and all of our people behind the scenes doing the administrative side of this tournament. Definitely to Feasel, the man that is not human.
Yeah, and Willard helped us out at the start, and Sakura's been here at the end, so thank both of y'all. As far as more races, I think this is the last one for the night. The next thing you'll see is in about, let's see, that's going to be 5.5 hours on Speed Gaming 1. You're going to get Problems IRL versus Elminster RTA. So that's quite a long way off, but that's the next thing we've got for you.
Yep. And we've got looks like we got pretty much a full battery of races for you tomorrow. So if you can sneak a headphone in at work, or if you happen to be a student in your classes or got a day off, definitely go ahead and check out our full family we got here on both the speed gaming side of things and on the randomizer mania side of things as well.
All right.
All right. Well, thank all you gentlemen once again for that amazing and entertaining run, and everybody have a great evening.
It's been good.